guys, welcome to yet another video of mine on my channel, the NutriFit. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Lily and I make videos looking at healthy living, about embarking on a nutrition journey, and just generally feeling good and living right. So first of all, I want to apologize for two things. One, if you hear any background noise, forgive me, excuse me, and also apologies for not having made a video for quite some time. But now I am back, and in this video I wanted to focus on hormones, and actually I want to do this as part of a series where I talk about different hormones and how they affect your weight loss. And for me, again, as you guys know, I have lost 20 kilos so far. If you want to hear more about my story, please go back and watch my first two videos. I talk about that in great detail. But basically, I remember thinking to myself, why is it that some people are able to lose weight faster than other people? Or why is it that, you know, for me, I feel like when I look at potatoes, I instantly gain 200 grams. I know we are many. I know, I see you. And there are people who just seem to eat and eat and eat, and it doesn't look like they're gaining weight at all. So when I started to do my own research, I really delved deeply into the issue of hormones, and it became so apparent that hormones play a very big role in whether you lose weight or not, and even not just weight loss but keeping the weight off. As I always say, you guys know this by now, anyone can lose weight. I believe anyone can lose weight, but not everybody can keep the weight off. There are some people who lose 5 kilos quickly, but they also gain them equally fast, and there are people who lose like a kilo slowly, but they're able to keep that weight off. For me, that has been my case. I've lost 20 kilos over a span of, I would say, 7-8 months, but it's because it's been slow but sure, and that's what I want your journey to be like. I personally don't advocate for diets that lead to sudden weight loss, like 10 kilos in a week, or I don't know, 10 kilos in a month. I personally don't advocate for that. And again, a disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor, so if you have any pre-existing conditions, if you have any medical condition whatsoever, please listen to the advice that your doctor tells you. For me, this is what I have learned, this is what I have researched, this is what I have seen work in my life practically. So today I want to focus on two particular hormones, and these are called hunger hormones. And probably you're wondering, okay, so why is it important for me to know about hunger hormones? It's important for you to know about hunger hormones because it will help you understand what happens when you feel hungry internally, like what kind of messaging is going on inside your body, and also times when you feel full and then after 10 minutes you're like, actually hata sijashiba, like trying to understand why you feel the way you feel when it comes to issues of hunger. First of all, let me explain what hormones are. Hormones are chemical substances that are released in our bodies that control and regulate the functions of our organs and particular cells in the body. So think of them as messengers. So our hormones are messengers sent to either stop something from happening, or to send a message to stop this organ from doing something, or to actually ask it to do something, you know. So it's a messenger for let's do this, or no, let's not do this. That's what hormones are. Think of them as messengers. And a lot of us remember like our high school biology or even university biology. We talk about sex hormones, we talk about stress hormones, we talk about hunger hormones. Like there are so many hormones that we are also very familiar with, but not really in detail. And I know a lot of people can't relate with how these hormones affect our weight loss, and that's why I am here for you. So in this video, I want to get into hunger hormones, and again, I'm going to do a series of videos that's going to focus on different hormones and how those hormones affect your weight loss, whether you're going to lose it or not. Now, there are two types of hunger hormones. One is the appetite suppressing hormone, also known as leptin, and it's not important for you to cram the name or to know the name. All you need to know is the function. That's what I need you to know, the function of the hormone. If you don't remember the name, it's fine. I'd rather you say, me, I know there's a hormone that suppresses appetite. That's fine. You don't need to know the name. Anyway, the appetite suppressing hormone is called leptin, spelled as Leptin, leptin. And then there is the appetite increasing hormone, which is called ghrelin. Again, you don't need to know the name, but you just need to know that there are two hormones, one that tells you to eat, one that tells you to not eat. Okay, and all of us, whether you're overweight, underweight, normal weight, everybody has those two hormones. Now, how do these two hormones work? The way I explain it is hormones work in harmony with each other, and I think of them as yin and yang. So when one is elevated, the other one is depressed. When this one is elevated, this one is depressed. Rarely do they work both as elevated and both as depressed. And that's the same thing with leptin. So naturally, let's think about it this way. If you're hungry, right, it means your appetite increasing hormone is up, which automatically means that your appetite suppressing hormone is down. I hope that makes sense. And when your appetite suppressing hormone is up, which means you don't feel like eating, you're full, then it means your appetite increasing hormone is down. So think of it that way. They work in opposites. When one is up, the other one is down. That's what I need you to know, okay? So let's start with the appetite suppressing hormone, also known as leptin. So again, this is the hormone that tells your brain to tell you, listen, Lily, we are full. Stop eating. And how does it do this? It does this by looking internally and seeing that you have enough fat stored, you have enough food stored to keep your body going. So in an ideal world, in a perfect situation, you know, you don't have any pre-existing medical condition, you're just fine, you know, you work out, you eat healthy, then it means the messaging is accurate. So when it tells you that you're full, you're actually full and you stop eating. But you find that this hormone is higher in overweight people. I know. Let's take a minute. Let's let that sink in for a minute. This appetite suppressing hormone is higher in overweight people, or people who have more weight than others, let me call it that. And if you have low weight, then your appetite suppressing hormone is equally low. That's how that hormone works. When you're overweight, the amount of leptin or appetite suppressing hormone is also high. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, so then why do we have people who are struggling with weight, who are obese, It's interesting because I also used to wonder, if the appetite suppressing hormone is higher in obese people, then why are they first of all obese in the first place? Okay, and I know the reason that happens is something that we call leptin resistance. So leptin resistance is a state where your body is unable to get the right messaging, if that makes sense. It's like a broken down car. It's like you're trying to switch on the ignition, but things are not connecting inside there. So instead of your body telling you, Lily, I think we need to chill out on the chips or on the burgers, it tells you, you know, it's okay, we can, you know, just proceed as you are, because there's a disconnect. Think of it, it's a broken down vehicle. That's what leptin resistance is. Your body is unable to communicate. Your leptin receptors in your cells are unable to get the message that we need to stop eating. So that is why you'll find people who are obese, despite them having a higher volume or a higher quantity of leptin in their blood, they still end up overfeeding. It's because they have leptin resistance. Their bodies are unable to send the right message. They're unable to process the information that they need to stop eating. And I'm going to talk about how you can be able to fix that as well. So I hope you're clear on that. Appetite suppressing hormone is higher in overweight people. And for people who, I mean, as your weight goes down, so does your leptin go down. Okay, so think of it as a graph. So if you're a bit chubby, if you're a bit heavy, if you're a bit overweight, then your leptin is here. then as you start to reduce, it also reduces with you. So it means somebody who has, maybe somebody who weighs 50 kilos and somebody who weighs 100 kilos, their leptin levels in their blood is different, and the person who has maybe weighs 100 kilos has more leptin in their blood than somebody who weighs 50 kilos. Okay, think about it that way. Now, in cases of dieting, and I want us to talk about this, and I think this is what's going to make a lot of sense to all of us, how dieting affects the hormone itself. Now, during periods of normal feeding, so you're not dieting, you're not doing like a 20-day detox, you're not, you know, you're just eating the way normally you do. You have 3 meals a day, you have snacks, you do all these things, right? During such times, that's how your leptin functions. 100 kilos, high leptin. 50 kilos, low leptin. But what happens when you are dieting? Now, when you're dieting, your body automatically goes into this state of, okay, guys, ni kama chakula itoshi, we are in a period of restricted feeding. Now, when you are in a period of restricted feeding, or if you are dieting, there's another hormone that's released from your body, and this is a stress hormone. And again, I'm gonna do a detailed video on stress hormones, but maybe you've come across the word cortisol. Have you heard of cortisol? So there's cortisol, there's adrenaline, there's all these things, and again, I'm gonna do a video on that. But what happens in a period of restricted feeding, your body is under a high stress environment. So what happens is, so you still have your leptin, right? Could be, you know, high or low depending on your weight. Okay, so you could be dieting because you're 100, or you could be dieting because you're 50. It doesn't matter. Your leptin levels still match your weight. But when you are dieting, your body is under stress. So when your body is under stress, it releases this hormone called cortisol. Now, when cortisol is released and it comes into contact with leptin, okay, what happens is your metabolism goes down, your energy expenditure goes down, because your body is in a state of stress. And because of that, you will find that actually your appetite starts to go up. So your leptin remains low, okay, but then you have this appetite increasing hormone, the one that I talked about, called ghrelin, that now starts to go up. And the reason ghrelin now comes into play is because your body in itself tries to find a state of balance. Your body does not want to go into starvation. Okay, when you are dieting and you have all these extreme diets that you guys hear of, oh, sujui eats 500 calories a day, oh, sujui drink water all day, or sujui drink only green juice, or sujui cut out all carbs and only eat. Let me tell you, there are crazy diets and crazy things that are going on, and suggestions that people are being told. But the reason I'm doing these videos is to explain to you what happens inside your body when you are in that state. So when you are now restricted, when you're now in a restricted feeding state, your body is under stress. So your body releases cortisol, and cortisol comes in and says, guys, listen, we are going to prevent a state of starvation. So it kind of stimulates the ghrelin, which is the appetite increasing hormone, because it doesn't want your body to go into starvation. Okay, because your body needs the calories, your body needs the food. That's how it gets the energy for the organs inside your body to function. That's how your heart is able to function. That's how your liver is able to function. That's how your kidneys are able to function. And your body will always fight for itself. So when you're in a period of excess, when I mean excess, like excess calorie reduction, maybe you used to eat 3,500 calories, suddenly you're now eating 500 calories. Your body is not stupid, but your body knows, okay, guys, let's have a small meeting. Okay, let's kind of reduce metabolism, let's keep the energy we have and increase our appetite to get more food in. That's when your ghrelin checks in. Now, ghrelin, which is the appetite stimulating hormone, works in the same way. Okay, so what happens is it gets really elevated just before a meal. So you know how you're so hungry, you're like, oh my god, I can eat I can eat a whole cow. Okay, that's your ghrelin. That is your appetite increasing or appetite stimulating hormone that tells you we need to eat, we are dying. So what do? You go, you feed yourself everything, you have a nice meal, and immediately after you feel normal, you feel just fine, because your ghrelin has done the job it was supposed to do. Your body wanted food, your hormones were sent this message, please tell this person we need to eat food. So quite unlike leptin, okay, so remember I said leptin, which is the appetite suppressing hormone. So it's the appetite that it's the hormone that tells you you're full. Remember, I don't want us to get lost. I don't want to lose you. I want you to be on the same page with me. So leptin is the hormone that suppresses appetite, tells you you're full, and we are done with that. Now we are looking at the appetite stimulating hormone, the hormone that tells you let us eat. Now, unlike leptin, which I've said if you're overweight you tend to have more leptin, when it comes to ghrelin it's actually the opposite. The more weight you have, the less appetite stimulating hormone you have. Okay, and you can remember I said leptin and ghrelin work in opposite. When one is high, the other one is low. And you remember we said if you have more weight you have more leptin, which means that your ghrelin has to be low, because if your leptin is high, your ghrelin has to be low. So in overweight people, in a typical ideal world, they don't have any pre-existing medical condition, your ghrelin is going to be low. Okay, because it's trying to tell you we don't need more food, you have enough stored in your body. Now for people who are underweight or normal weight, you'll find that they have higher levels of ghrelin, so they have higher levels of the appetite stimulating hormone. Now when they have higher levels of this hormone, it means that they feel hungrier, they will eat more often. And you think about it, you know, people who are much more petite or skinnier and they're always eating. Now you know. Now you know. And then you wonder, aki ututu mutu hatunonangi, what is the problem? Guys, listen, it is how we metabolize things in our body, and everything is tied to hormones. So you have people who are overweight, have low levels of ghrelin, and then you have people who are underweight, they have higher levels of ghrelin. Now what happens in times of restricted feeding? You remember I said when you are in a state of restricted feeding with leptin, your leptin is low, your cortisol is high, your ghrelin is high. That explains it. In cases of restricted feeding, what your body does is that it slows down metabolism, it holds on from burning energy, and it increases your appetite because it wants food to sustain itself. Ghrelin, you know, you might think it is your enemy, like, this is that hormone that always makes me want to eat, but it's actually a good hormone because it prevents you from going into a state of starvation, and that's not something we want. I mean, we don't want to be starving, because again, starvation will not lead to weight loss unless, you know, I mean, we're talking about a different body state, and we've seen stories of people who are, you know, living in dry, arid areas where they've not been eating for a long period of time and they have a lot of body wasting, and that's a different process, and we're not talking about that. We are talking about losing weight in a healthy and sustainable manner. So once you understand what ghrelin does and what leptin does, it helps you understand why sometimes you feel hungrier than normal. It also helps you understand why some people are just skinny and they're able to get away with eating the type of food that they eat, and you being overweight, you're just like, oh God, I look at potatoes, I just look, God, I look and I see 2 kilos. I see it when I step on the weighing scale. That explains it. Now probably you're wondering, okay, so Lily, umetuexplainia leptin inatufanya tusikule, na watu wenye wako a bit, you know, overweight, wako nayo high, kwa nini sasa? Okay, your information meter nisaidia aje? Listen, there's a lot of resistance inside our body. I've talked about leptin resistance in overweight people who, despite them having higher levels of leptin, which is what you would think would tell them not to eat, they're still eating. they have leptin resistance. And then you have people who have elevated levels of ghrelin, and you know, they think of it as a bad thing. Oh my God, I'm constantly eating, constantly hungry. This is the solution, okay? This is the solution. Now, things that elevate your ghrelin or your appetite stimulating hormone is a diet that is low in protein. So if you're not eating adequate protein, your ghrelin levels or your appetite stimulating hormone will go high. So if you want to fix that problem, what do? Eat a diet that is high in protein. Second thing, something called fiber. Listen, for me, fiber is the holy grail. I can't even explain to you. Fiber is everything. Fiber is in vegetables, fiber is in fruits, fiber is in superfoods like chia seeds, flax seeds. Fiber is your friend. What fiber does, fiber helps you makes you feel fuller for longer. For example, when you guys see my Instagram videos and you see me make chia seed pudding and eat it as my breakfast, that meal can keep me going until 2 p.m. and maybe I had it at 9 a.m. I'll feel fuller for longer. That's what fiber does to you. Same thing with making green smoothies. Those smoothies, because they're made of fruits and vegetables, they are also high in fiber. Fiber is your friend. If you are eating a diet that's low in fiber, then your appetite increasing hormone will go high, okay? And it's very easy. Think about it. If you're eating a lot of processed food, a lot of junk food, a lot of simple carbohydrates kind of food, you know, you're just eating mamikate hapa, ma burger, ma pizza, those things do nothing for your appetite. You know, the thing is, think about it this way. Have you had those moments when you eat a meal and you feel very satisfied? You actually, in fact, go into a state of a food coma. You're just there. You feel like death. You can't move. You can't function. You get into a state of a food coma, and then literally an hour later, you're hungry again. You're like, did I not just eat half a pizza? What is wrong with me? In fact, you even get up from your house, from your car, you drive all the way to the chemist to tell them, nipeni dawa ya minyo, because now you think shidako ni minyo. It is not minyo, honey. It's not. What you're doing is, you're doing nothing for your appetite stimulating hormone. Your dietary choices are poor, and therefore your appetite stimulating hormone is always here. What you want to do is to have it at a normal level. I'm not saying you want to have it at like low, because we all need to eat. Eating is a good thing, and I want you to have a positive relationship with food. So to help yourself increase your protein intake, so this could be both animal and plant sources. So guys, let no one lie to you that you can only get protein from chicken, beef, turkey, goat, sujui, pork, sujui. Listen, you can get proteins from beans, from dengu, from lentils. Those are good sources of proteins as well. So increase your protein, increase your fiber, increase your complex carbohydrates, okay? So not simple carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. And these are real quick. If you want to eat bread, don't eat white bread, eat whole grain bread. You can eat white rice, I have nothing against it, but increase other options like brown rice, like quinoa. Increase your options like brown pasta or whole grain pasta. So try as much as possible to increase like your good complex carbohydrates. Up your vegetable intake, up your fruit intake as well. Fruit has fructose, which is a form of sugar, but it's good sugar, okay? Another thing to also include is a bit of exercise. And I'm not saying go join a gym, go to the gym every single day for 2 hours. Don't do it. Just get yourself moving if you can. You know, maybe if it's a distance that you can walk, or even when you leave work or leave school, you know, try and walk to the stage as opposed to kwenda kwa stage. You know, try as much as possible to incorporate some form of movement. For me, in fact, I don't want to think of it as exercise. Movement. Just move. Try and get outside the comfort of a vehicle, okay? Also, another thing that we need to be conscious about if we want to keep our ghrelin levels at an optimum level is to avoid yo-yo dieting. By yo-yo, it means it's those sudden peaks, sudden drops, sudden peaks, sudden drops. which means, and by now you guys know this, I am against X numbered days diets. I'm against 5-day diets, 10-day diets, 20-day diets, 30-day diets. I am personally against it, and that's why on this channel I don't think you'll ever hear me say I follow the ketogenic diet, or I follow the Atkins diet, or I follow the I don't. I just eat healthy. And this is the reason why, because your hormones don't respond well to restricted feeding. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you to restrict your calories. It's not going to work, sis. It's not going to work. In fact, going on this yo-yo diet of suddenly restricting your calories, you know what that's going to do? It's going to increase your appetite stimulating hormone. So don't do it. So I've talked about increasing your protein, increasing your fiber, get moving, increase your complex carbohydrates. Another thing very important, very, very important, is sleep. I know it feels like yeah, sleep is important. There has been research that has shown that sleep deprivation increases your appetite. Yep, plain and simple. So if you're here burning midnight oil, and I know that there's circumstances and situations that will call for you to, you know, work late or wake up early. I get it, I do, because I also go through that. But don't make it a regular thing. Don't be the kind of person who says, me, I sleep 4 hours a night and me, I'm just fine. Don't be that person. Try as much as possible to get a minimum of 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night. Good quality sleep. Okay, so sleep deprivation is going to increase your appetite, plain and simple. What you want to do is to sleep well, sleep for a good number of hours, wake up feeling refreshed, and that's going to fix your problem. Okay, so I hope this video has taught you 1 or 2 things about hunger hormones. And if you have any questions, maybe something was not clear in the video, maybe you have a very specific question regarding your body type and you want to ask me, please feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram handle is at Miss Lily Kamau, or you can drop me an email at thenutrifit@gmail.com. I'm gonna put all those things in the description box below this video, or you can even DM me. Feel free to reach out to me, ask me any questions you might have. But I hope I've been able to explain how hunger hormones play a role in whether you lose weight or not. I'm sure by now you guys know increase in appetite, increase in food intake, increase in weight. You know, it's a very, once you understand the basics of how your hormones function, it becomes easier for you to understand why you're losing weight or why you're not losing weight, or how you can lose weight better. So I hope I tried to make this video as short and as comprehensive as possible. But if you guys have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be doing another video. And in this second video, I'll be talking about the sex hormones, talking about the stress hormones. So I'm planning to do a series of videos focusing on hormones and how hormones affect your weight loss journey. Again, real quick summary: if you want to reduce your appetite, particularly the appetite stimulating hormone, that's the word I was looking for. So if you want to counter that, if you want to be able to check your appetite, increase your protein, increase your fiber, increase your complex carbohydrates, get moving or exercise, get your sleep, and avoid yo-yo dieting. So don't do 10-day things, 20-day things, and also try and lose your weight gradually and sustainably. And I am a living testimony to that. So thank you so much for clicking on this video. I look forward to seeing your comments, to reading your comments, and I'll see you in the next video.